Hello traders, do you hear me well? Hello everyone. Please put pluses if you hear me well, if the sound is good, and please put minuses if you don't. Let's wait several minutes for new participants. Those who are here, please share your traders week experience. Write down what maximum profit did you manage to get this week or maximum loss. But I hope all of you are in good profit. Great. The sound is good. Let's wait for some others. We'll wait for 2-3 minutes more. Sound plus, profit minus. It's all about experience. All we have to survive different stages of market. As soon as we do this, we will manage to earn on different markets in any conditions. Okay. Now let's getting started. I have already chosen some instruments for our today trading session. As I already showed, I prefer selecting instruments through watching the most volatile instruments at Binance section markets. I will show you. Markets and then futures markets. The situation has already changed. We usually choose 5-7 most volatile instruments: BAL-USDT, AP3, TRB, LPT, 1, CHZ, and maybe some others that I usually prefer watching, getting from our trader signals English community. All the signals are published by professional traders, and it really helps, even more than different screeners. So let's check some situations. For example, Anchor. That was very strong impulse today. However, first of all, after selecting the instrument, we should build the most strong level, the strongest level, from top to down. We should conduct some technical analysis and remember that principle from top down, namely starting from the higher time frames, for example, from 4 hour and ending with 15 minutes, for example. There is no need to build too many levels because it will confuse you. And please choose the different colors for your levels of different time frames. For example, I prefer coloring the strongest levels with red color. I don't see something good at this instrument. However, I see 2 touches to the very strong level, and maybe let's put alarm level here because I'm waiting something like that, and maybe the third or fourth touch will cause very good impulse. So I think 0.584. 0.5. So I'm putting some alarm levels here, just not to sitting behind the monitor and watching this situation. I'm just putting the alarm levels. Let's move further. While you are listening for my analysis, please ask your questions. I'm open for any questions, and if you have some theoretical aspect to ask, please ask. Maybe some questions about strategies or analysis. We have only 4 participants. I hope there will be more. So let's move further. Here, H bar. I really like this instrument, and it shows multiple touches to the level. The level was it was a fake breakout or something like a retest. However, the situation is still relevant. In such cases, when there is a high probability of such manipulations, there is usually manipulation of huge player when you are trying to participate in a huge and very strong impulse. However, the price rolls in. So if you faces 3-4 times pulling out with stop loss on such situations, I usually prefer entering spot. I really prefer spot trading breakouts with a spot, because you won't be liquidated, and if you face such situations, the really good hedging of your risks is to trade such breakouts by trading spot, not futures. Let's move further. And as usual, maybe let's conduct some BTC analysis. We recently found out that the inflation in US has a little decreased, and there was the first very good sign for the markets. However, it doesn't mean that the Federal Reserve will not be tightening the monetary policy. It probably will, but the next rate increase will probably be by 0.5% against 0.75. However, the general course will remain the same. It's just the first and very good sign for markets. So we can expect a short-term long correction. I mean, we can even go higher till 32. So a very strong level with the very strong profile of sellers, where I think we will face really strong resistance. And then, as far as the general course will be the same tightening of monetary policy. then I think it would be just a correction. Then we will continue the downtrend movement. Maybe it will be something like this, like head and shoulders. And then if the next several Federal Reserve if the Federal Reserve System continue tightening the monetary policy, if we won't see any inflation decrease, I'm sure that we will go further down till $8,000. I'm almost sure. However, if we will see some inflation decrease, there will be very good sign for reverse. Something somewhere here. So let's come back to our analysis. And if you see some interesting situation, please share it with me, because I'm alone, so I need your help. A very interesting situation I see at OP. Maybe we will see the breakout of this slope. However, the range is still downward. However, I'm hoping for the good impulse somewhere here. So it could be, while we are searching for good entry points for slow breakout, we should, first of all, we should find some horizontal level. Something like that, maybe. It's not very accurate, however, it will be something like that. And 1.58 will be good for alarm level. OP. Where is the OP? $1.58. And please watch the activity of the market. I mean this part. When we are coming to the very strong level and we see very high activity here, and maybe your even your order book and display will have some lags. It means that the activity is rising, and this is the very first sign to enter the breakout. Let's see what's next. Seller. It was a kind of breakout with the retest. However, it's too early to make some conclusions about this situation, because we will call it the retest when we see the price somewhere here with the 1 or 2 bearish candles covering all this that retest movement. I hope this is the retest. Let's look. Seller. Here on the spot, I see a big limit order, quite huge limit order, and from this limit order we can enter. Moreover, here we see clusters. Let's try. I prefer loading with very small parts to load the position. Just a moment. Here at clusters, if we have some more point of controls around this level where we have this huge limit order, I think we will treat this like a support zone, the very good support zone. So at least it still looks like the very accurate retest of this level, as you see, tick by tick. Let's move next. I really like this instrument as well. Look at this. The price is consolidating inside the triangle, really huge triangle. And what do you think about this? Do you like trading triangles? Please share your opinion on the comments below this stream. However, it will be a very long way up, very long way up. So we can only put some alarm levels somewhere here, finding at least one horizontal level. I think it will be 0.75. Sorry. Like that. Okay, I recommend you before you start trading, always see some new setups and always put alarm levels, because you can totally forget about some situations, and such alarm levels will remain you. I really like the situation with Shiba, but the situation is extremely manipulative. Just look at the daily graph. Just look at this. It's like a fish skeleton. So many attempts to break the level, and huge sellers limit orders and manipulators do not allow the crowd to break this level. It's all about the times of bearish market. It's all about high fear index and low greed index. It's all about the stage of the market. The great fear and the great manipulative frauds. So when I see such situations and I really almost sure that finally the breakout will occur, I really prefer trading such breakouts in spot, because here I am almost sure that there will be the breakout. There are many factors. The consolidation lasts from May 14th. It's all about the situation that was with ETC, Ethereum Classic. So I'm sure that the breakout will occur. However, so many future traders will be liquidated here, and many of them have been already liquidated. Just see this, watch these shadows. So that's why I really like spot trading, scalping in spot for such situation. Let's move further. What is your win ratio? What do you mean? How many pluses I have out of all my trades, or what? Frankly speaking, in trading, you can have only 50% good statistics to have good profit in the long term. Because the good trader is not the one who closes every single trade in plus, but the one who really can manage the emotions and follow and adhere to a risk system, a risk management system. So you can have 10 trades in a row. They will be red, for example, -5, -5, -5, and the next one there will be one good trade that will bring you $300 and compensate all this. What's happening here? Oh, this was false signal. Yes, triangle patterns are great for potential breakouts or breakdowns. Usually, the most important advantage of trading the triangles is that usually triangle really give huge potential. However, the probability of manipulations in triangles are much higher. Usually, the triangle behaves like that. We see some triangle, we have the price consolidating inside. And what we are expecting? We're expecting, if we had the previous trend, the uptrend, we expect the continuation of the trend. But there will be both side liquidity grab, then it will consolidate more, and then it will be the real impulse. Here, you probably lose your money. Some amateur traders will be liquidated here. This is how it works. Triangles are very attractive market formation for huge players, spoofers, and manipulators. How do you pick coins for day trading? Before before we start, I showed how I usually prefer selecting the instruments. I usually go to Binance markets, then futures markets, and here I set 24 hours change, where I pick up the most volatile coins. STM, Tomo, FLM, those who showed the decrease, and those who pumped, BAL USDT, EP3, TRB. And don't forget to subscribe for our trader signals. Sometimes I prefer getting good signals from here, and it's really working out very well. Let's see Uni USDT. Looks very good. And then look at something new. RVN. The same story with RVN, where we should better place some alarm levels. Very good activity on ETC. Let's watch ETC, where I have it. The market is activating. Whenever I see a triangle, I do long straddle with options. It depends. It depends on the situation. Little pump on the EDC. What we have on the BTC, I'm sure that's something happening here. Let's watch. Here we have 0.5% profit on seller. So I really believe it will show very good result. The first aim, I think, will be at least that 0.275. Please don't forget to share your situation. What do you see in the market? I really like Shiba. The fact that they're manipulators only proves the fact that finally there will be much more interest for huge participants to make this breakout. All these candles show us that there were multiple liquidity grabs, because the huge player is still loading the position. When the crowd tries to break the level, the huge player rolls the price again, rolls it down in order to continue his loading. So I'm sure as soon as this player load all this position, it will be very, very good breakout. Watch this instrument and be careful with futures. Don't forget asking questions. Do trade news, hobby news came out an hour ago. Yes, the news is extremely important factor, but I don't prefer pumping, because sometimes when we have some news, for example, when we had the GMT update or something like that, there was very strong pumping, and I treat pumping like casino, because you never know when it ends. You never know when the critical mass of participants will fix the position. You never know. It always starts with pump, and it always ends with dump. I prefer trading by analysis, and when I trading and I have some several factors for long. For example, I trade long, and positive news help me to hold this position. It's good, but I never trade the news alone. Prefer selecting several factors for entering position, as far as well as a closing position. So what was the news? Could you please provide the link, because I failed to see this. The seller setup, I really love this. I think the price refresh. It will refresh this high. Let's see the potential aims. It could be the mechanics of crypto markets movement is that it usually really likes to refresh the highs and the lows. When we are setting up the aims, we usually put our aims on highs and lows. Crypto Mogul seeks to sell hobby stake at 3 billion value. However, I think that was very short-term effect on the market by such news. The last news I participated in was at GMT, as I said. That was the update. When the news came out, I've been already on the position, and I really managed to take a lot. That was a very good trade. Previously, I had several minuses in a row for several days. So that was a very good trade for me that compensated all my previous loss. On which exchange do you trade? Is Bybit alright? It's a very good question, Christian, because for scalping, for scalpers and those who are working with the terminal, trading terminal like CScalp, that is the terminal of high accuracy, especially for scalping traders. It's extremely important for us to trade on such exchanges with the high liquidity. I prefer Binance because the Binance have no problems with liquidity. The Bybit is quite well. It's really quite well, but Binance have much more liquidity because it's much more popular. If you prefer positional trading or investing, it's okay. It's absolutely okay. But if you prefer scalping, I really recommend using CScalp, pairing it with your Binance account, because I don't remember the moments and the instruments with empty order books. It's extremely important. GMT and XE were my best trades. Bought them on launchpads. It's a great news. Binance Futures is not supported in many countries, so is it that CScalp, the free version? Thanks. Yes, you can download CScalp absolutely for free. Here you even can find the link, download CScalp. It's quite intuitive and it's no problem with downloading, so it's absolutely for free. And the CScalp is partnering with many exchanges from Binance to FTX, Bybit. So if the futures on Binance is prohibited in your country, you really can use Bybit. It's no problem. Let's move next. What do you see on the market? Let's watch. Nothing new. I recently started using footprint charts for the stock market. Still confused with marking entries. Any suggestions on how do I polish that skill? First of all, I think you need some more screen time, because all the main things are coming with experience. The more you trade, the more experience you are getting. Searching for entry point, you should always take into account several factors. For example, I know many traders trading, for example, just only by using indicators. However, you may already saw the video on CScalp TV about indicators, that indicators do not work alone. They work on history very well. However, you should use many factors. You should use cluster analysis. You should watch the activity of market participants and the order book. Conduct some technical analysis. And if some factors, for example, for long coincide, so it's a very good argument for entry. Then you have just to find the entry point, like that. From the very beginning, when I saw this situation, seller, on my technical analysis, I see that the level was broken. Then I just understand that it could be, that it will probably be the retest with the further long continuation. As far as we see that the market background is quite positive. We previously had some first positive news. BTC is about going too long, so I probably find some long entry points. So I switch to lower time frames, and what I see here, very accurate rebound from strong level. What I see on the order book, I see huge limit orders that I could use as a support zone. And finally, I use cluster analysis. I use the several POCs in cluster as a support zone. And I have already have more than 0.5%. It's quite small, and on the current market it's quite risky. I usually decrease working volumes. However, I usually prefer using at least 3 arguments before entering the market, before opening the position. Thanks, Roman. You are welcome, Christian. Please share your experience with analyzing what arguments do you prefer, and how many factors do you use before entering the position. The more factors you have, the better position, the better setup you have, and the more probability of good working out. On cluster, you keep delta or total volume. I usually prefer different factors, watching different factors in clusters. For example, I watch delta to check the reliability of different limit orders. For example, we have here about 4 million. We watch delta and see that about each 5 minutes we have 100,000, about 1 million, 1 million. Here we have 223, and we make a conclusion that we need 20 minutes, about 20 minutes and even more to execute this limit order. It means that this limit order is quite reliable, and we can treat it like the support. Finally, I use the delta itself. I was talking about the cumulative amount of orders executed within 5 minutes. And what about delta? I'm watching delta, but the most important thing is about the color in clusters, and how point of controls are placing. And there are some patterns in cluster like that. For example, when we have something like that, we have clusters zone where we have something like a hammer or X. It looks like hammer, where the resistance we see here, and here we see some point of controls, several units of points of control. It means that we have a very good and strong pressure from bottom to top. Here, that place we can treat as a support level with placing stop loss somewhere here. The same story the opposite situation. When we have some clusters on this part with strong pokes somewhere here, we treat it like a resistance zone. If we have already a position in profit and we face something like that on our way up, we should understand that this is the resistance, and we should close the part of the position or the position totally. Or if we are searching for short signal, this is one of the factors you use to short, with placing stop loss somewhere here, because this zone is resistance. So not only delta and total volume are important, the clusters are important too. The color in clusters. When we from the very beginning, when we have the very clear green clusters, it means that market buyers do not face any resistance. The next moment, when we have clusters dirty green, it means that when we are mixing green with a little red, we will have something like that. It means that previously very confident buyers now facing some resistance from sellers. Then that cluster becomes dirty red. It means that this is the mix of green and red. However, the sellers are winning. And finally, when the sellers do not face any resistance, what color it be? It will be clear red. It's very simple explanation. However, it's ideal model, I will say. It's quite much more complicated when you are trading. However, you should really understand the importance of the colors of clusters. So don't forget asking your questions. What we see on ETC, I think it will be very good slope. And maybe we will have some more touches to that zones. And finally, it will be a very good breakout. As you see, previously the breakouts were working very bad. When we are having only 0.8% or 1% in the better cases, and the price rolls in. Now the breakouts work much better. The reason is some positive news. Some positive news give those tinder for market, those fuel, making this more active and giving more confidence to market participants. Because one of the very important element of the breakout is the confidence of participants, the confidence of the crowd that pushing the price out from the strong levels. I probably need more screen time to follow all this information. Yes. Most traders' problems are solved by gaining screen time. But you should master it on a very clever way. I mean that if you are a beginner, don't use very high leverage. Do not deposit with a very high sum of money. It's better to learn increasing your deposit from $5 to $50 about 10 times in a row, because any future traders will be liquidated at least 5-10 times, and maybe much more before he becomes more or less confident and more or less stable in emotional aspect. So it will be better that all this educational period will cost you $100 rather than $1,000. Otherwise, it will cause the psychological block in your head. That will be the real psychological obstacle for your deposit increase. We have several minutes left. Please ask your questions, and we will be ending this stream. Don't forget about likes, and don't forget about the comments, and about our Telegram channel. What node size you keep? What do you mean? If you mean working volume, it depends on the situation. I usually do not exceed fifth size of leverage. 5x is the maximum, because I really like low risk trading. It really gives less profit than of those traders who trade with really big leverages. But I'm much more psychologically stable, and I have quite good profit on the distance, because I know traders who trade 25-50x leverage. Sometimes they really get very good profit, and the next day they are liquidating usually. So be careful. At least you should choose your leverage depending on the strategy. For example, when we are trading breakouts, as far as the breakout is one of the most risky strategy, because you don't know from the very beginning where to put your stop loss. It's very dangerous to use high leverages here. However, when you are trading the pullback from huge limit orders, as far as you have the very short stop loss, here you can choose a much higher leverage. For example, if you manage to If you manage to enter from a huge limit order, when the price touches it very close, and you expect downtrend movement from this limit order, you have very short stop loss. And here you can use high leverage, because short stop loss will not cause you very big losses. In the case of executing this limit order, when it will be executed by a half, you just manually close the position. However, when we are trading such situation, we usually use high leverage, and it compensates short movements that usually given by such situation. But when I personally trade breakouts, I really do not use very big leverages, maximum 3x. Here we see that for now I'm bearing $5 loss trading the Shiba. However, I really believe that it will break out. ETC slow breakout as well looks very good, and maybe the next touch of this slope will cause the breakout. But I believe that it won't. I think the price needs some more consolidation, and just watch the activity on Ethereum Classic. If the buyer's activity on this zone will be high, it will be a good reason to enter the breakout. However, be careful, don't use very high working volume. Adhere to your risk management. On the doggy and seller, we are waiting for situation. Here we are waiting for the alarm somewhere here on the seller. The activity is quite low, but I hope it will be the very long trade and it will work out very well. I hope so. I hope so. Look at the OP. It looks like this level is quite strong. So the next touch of this level will cause the breakout. I'm almost sure. Watch this instrument as well. It's quite interesting. The first aim, if the breakout occurs, I think that the first aim will be 1.7, at least 1.7. And one more about seller. Look at this limit order. This limit order is not manipulative. It's quite stable. This limit order is on the round price, and it means that This is the limit order of institutional participant. I hope so, because sometimes on the bearish market, when the greed index is low and fear index is high, the manipulators use different limit orders to manipulate the crowd. How to detect manipulative limit orders? They are not stable. They are changing. They are changing. They are not standing for a long time, more than 10 minutes, for example. They are not on the round places, not always. This limit order looks well, so that's why I treat it like I treat it as support level. So it's time to finish, guys. Thank you for your attention. Please visit all our streams. It will be very funny next time, I think. So thank you. Thank you all. See you next time.